Hello, welcome to Cooking with Miss Michelle. Today is going to be kind of a cooking and art project. I'm going to show you how to dye eggs with natural ingredients. So this is really fun. You can experiment with different ingredients to see what gives you the best colors. I first started doing this one year when I went to the store and they were out of egg dye, but this is actually way more fun than using the stuff in the package because you get to use all different things and experiment. So you're going to need white eggs and white vinegar, a lot of pots and pans, and different colored things to try making different egg dye with. So think about what will stain your clothes, and those are probably going to be the best things to use for egg dye. A lot of these are also probably things that people used to make dyes before dyes were available. So hundreds of years ago, when people wanted to dye their clothes, they did natural dyes. So you can think about what kind of really bright colored things you can find in nature to try to use to make your egg dye. So I have some pickled beets here I'm going to use. You can use fresh beets if you don't have pickled beets. I'm going to try carrots. I haven't tried these before, so it'll be interesting to see if they work or not. Everything you try might not work, but it's still fun to experiment. Turmeric, I know this will work. It's very yellow. Spinach for green. I haven't found a great green. You'll probably just get like some lighter colors with some of these, but maybe even grass would be fun if you ground it up. I have some purple cabbage, and then these are some frozen blackberries I have left over from the summer. So I'm going to try some of those. And then I also have some coffee that I just made, so I can use this. So this is already made. I'm going to put it into a bowl, and then I can put some of my eggs in there. And I don't want to fill my bowl all the way up, so when I put my eggs in, they'll have some room, because when I drop those in, the liquid is going to get taller. So leave some room at the top of your bowl so you don't overflow. So first I'm going to need to boil my eggs. So I want to get a large pan, and I'm just going to really gently put my eggs in so they don't break. And I'm going to boil some plain, and I'm going to save some and try boiling them with my dye to see if they get darker when they get boiled in with the dye. So let's see. I'll do 10 in here, and then I'm going to, I'll do 12 in here. I'm going to put some water so it's just covering my eggs. Then I'm going to put these on the stove, and after the water starts to boil, I'm going to wait about 8 minutes and then turn them off. Okay, so while I wait for those, I'll get some of my colors ready. So in each pan, I'm going to want about 1 quart of water. This is 1 quart. I'm going to do a little bit less than 1 quart because I know my bowls don't hold quite that much. And for each quart, I'm going to need 2 tablespoons of white vinegar. If you want to make a lot of one color and you're going to use more than 1 quart, you just want to add 1 tablespoon for every 1/2 quart of water. So if you want to make more, you can, but add more vinegar. The vinegar is going to help the colors stick to the eggs. And then for this one, I'm going to do my turmeric. So I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of turmeric. And it doesn't have to be exact because I'm just using it for the color. But I want at least 2 tablespoons. And I'm going to stir that in. And then I'm gonna put a couple eggs in here to boil. Another thing that I don't have that you can try using to dye your eggs is brown onion skins. I've done that in the past and it gives it a pretty nice color. Just experiment with all different things because it's fun to see what works. Green tea powder is another one you can try for green. I also don't have that, but I've used it in the past. So I'm going to put this next to my other pan and boil it. And I'll try my spinach too. So I want to kind of grind and chop this up to get the green flowing out of the leaves. I'm going to put it in my pan, and I'm going to kind of squish it up with my spoon to try to crush the leaves to see if that gets more of the coloring out. And we'll see if that works. So I'm going to try to boil a couple eggs in with the spinach too. And then I want to add my vinegar. Where's my spoon? So I added a little bit of extra water, so I'll just put in a little extra vinegar there. Okay, so now I think I'm going to start working on my cabbage. So this will be interesting. This one I haven't tried before, but I've heard it works really well. So I'm excited to see how it turns out. So I'm going to use kind of a lot. Oops. And I'm just going to start shredding it up really small. So the more I cut this up, the more places the color will have to come out. Anywhere I cut is a place where the color could come out of the cabbage here. You could also rip it up if you don't want to use a knife. That would be fun. You might get a little bit of the dye on your hands, but you can always wash them. Okay. So then I'm just going to put this in my pan with my water and vinegar like I did with the other colors. And I don't think I'll put my eggs in here. I think I'll just boil this one and then dip the eggs in it afterwards. Okay, my eggs are just about boiling, so I'm going to set my timer for 8 minutes. And I'm out of pan, so I'll just work on getting some more of my stuff ready while I wait for that stuff to boil. So for the carrots, I have a really fine grater. I'm going to try to grate these really small because I think that'll help release a lot of the color out of them. And I just have baby carrots. If you have a big carrot, it might be easier because you won't have to do as many, but I'm going to grind up a few so I can get as much orange as possible. Now, if you don't have something for every color too, after you boil your dyes, you can mix them like you do with paint to get different colors. Okay, so I'm gonna wait for my other stuff to be done cooking so I can cook that. For my beets, I actually have this jar of pickled beets that I've made. So when you make pickled beets, you basically just boil water and vinegar together and then put it over the beets. So I'm just gonna try using the liquid from this jar. If you don't happen to have a jar of pickled beets lying around, you can just do the same thing and cut up your beets or shred them and boil them with the vinegar. So I'm just going to drain this liquid out and then I will save the beets for a salad. And then the last thing I'm going to try is these blackberries. And I think I will just try the juice without boiling them because I think this might be colorful enough. It'll be a good experiment. I'm just going to dump a little bit into my bowl. And I'm going to try to crush these up a little bit. So I'm going to add some water and vinegar. Okay, my eggs are just about done. So I'm going to turn these off. I have my other stuff boiling over here, my dye is getting ready, my exhaust fan's on so it's a little bit loud, hopefully you can hear me okay. So I'm going to really carefully take these out. I want to try not to break them. It looks like one cracked, but that's okay. So I just have this strainer in a large bowl so some of the water can drip down. And I'm just going to really, really carefully take these out with a slotted spoon and then gently set them in here. And then I can let them cool down for a little bit while I finish getting my dyes ready. So now that the eggs are done boiling, I can use this pan to make the carrot dye and let my eggs cool down a little bit while I'm making my dyes. And then when they're cooled down, I can come back and dye them. Okay, so now my turmeric eggs have been boiling for about 10 minutes. So I'm going to take these out. And they look pretty nice and yellow. I'm just going to transfer these to another bowl. And this turmeric dye looks pretty nice. I might want to try mixing this yellow with another color. So I'm going to save this dye. I'm just going to let my eggs soak in it a little bit longer to see if they turn more yellow. and then maybe I can mix the yellow with another color to see if I can make some other colors. Okay, so my eggs that are boiling in the different pots, I want to make sure I don't overboil them. This has been in here for about 10 minutes with the spinach. So I'm going to pull these out. They don't look very green, so I'm just going to keep them in with this water and see if they get more green. If they don't, I'm okay with that. I can always take them out and put them in with a different color if this green doesn't work, but it's fun to experiment. And I did decide that I want to boil my blackberries a little bit, so I'm going to put these in here, boil that for about 10 minutes, and I'll come back and check on these in a bit. Okay, my dyes are finished boiling, so I'm going to take them and transfer them to the bowls. So my carrot dye, the water doesn't look too orange, but it looks like the side of the pan is, so maybe next time I would try boiling the eggs in there. I'm going to just strain out the carrots. Whoops. And I'm just going to dump those out. Since I cooked them with vinegar, they probably won't taste very good. And then I have my purple cabbage. That one looks nice and colorful. So I'm going to strain it into the bowl. Oops. And I'm going to leave a little bit of room for the eggs. And then I have the blackberries that I decided to boil. Okay, so I have quite the variety of dyes here. And my eggs were still pretty warm, so I ran them under some cool water to cool them down a little bit. So now I can just start dipping them. So here's the coffee. So with this kind of egg dye, the longer you leave them in, the brighter they will become. So with traditional egg dye, you can just leave them in for a couple minutes and they'll get pretty dyed, but these ones, you can leave them in for a really long time. So I'm just gonna put them in here and then go do something else and come back and check them later and see how they turn out. Oops. And I think I'm going to take one of my yellow ones and I'm going to put it in the beet dye to see if that'll turn orange. So I can try soaking them in one color and then moving them like I just did and do different experiments like that. This is just a really fun project to experiment with. And some of these aren't quite full, so I'm just going to add a little bit of water to cover the eggs. Alright, I'm going to let these soak and I'll come back and check them in a little while. Okay, so my eggs have been soaking in the dye for about an hour and a half, so I'm going to check them and see how they turned out. So this is the coffee. These look pretty good. They're kind of a light brown color. This is the pickled beet juice that I had from my jar. So they're okay. They're not too dark, but they have a little bit of a red tint. So in the past I've used whole beets and they worked better, so I would probably go with that again, but I didn't have any beets, so I just tried this and it didn't work out. That's the yellow one that I put in. It still looks pretty yellow. This is the carrot one. This one didn't really do much, so I can just put this into a different color. These are the turmeric ones. these ones, they look really nice. So I think this is the one that I put in after the boil. It still looks pretty yellow. And then these are the ones that I boiled with the turmeric. Those are a little bit darker, but if I left this one in here, I think it would still get even darker. This is the spinach. They're a little speckled, but they look like they didn't get dyed too well, so that one didn't work out as good, but that's okay. It was still fun to try. This is my purple cabbage. So these ones look really nice. These turned out a nice robin's egg blue. And then these are the blackberry ones. Ooh, those ones look really cool. Kind of a reddish purple color. So this was mostly a success. What I might try, since I didn't get any green, but this blue turned out really nice, I might try mixing some of this color with the yellow to make my own green. And I'll take one of the eggs that didn't get very dyed and put it in there. So you could even take these and put them in your refrigerator and leave them overnight if you want to try to make them really, really dark. You don't want to leave the eggs sitting outside the fridge overnight because they will go bad, but I'm pretty happy with most of mine, so I think I'll just take them out and try to re-dye the ones that didn't work out very well. So this does not look green at all. I'll see if it does turn green or not, but it'll be a fun experiment. So try different things you have at home. You can make as many colors as you want and see how they work. I hope you like this video, and happy egg dyeing.